What if I told you that your best ideas aren't hidden inside you? They're hiding in plain sight. Nietzsche believed that life isn't something you understand, it's something you create. But here's the twist. Creation isn't about talent. It's about breaking patterns, stacking ideas, and rewriting your own rules. And once you understand that, creativity stops being a mystery and starts becoming a choice. Nietzsche knew this about creation, long before TikTok did What If. Everything you believe about life, your values, your goals, even your sense of purpose, isn't really yours. Nietzsche argued that most people are living second-hand lives, built on borrowed beliefs. We inherit ideas from religion, culture, family, and call them our own. But according to him, true freedom begins the moment you reject what was handed to you and start creating meaning for yourself. Not finding meaning, creating it. At the core of Nietzsche's philosophy is the idea that life is not a problem to solve, but a canvas to paint. He introduced the will to power, not as domination over others, but as the inner force that drives us to evolve, grow, and create. For Nietzsche, to live fully is to become a creator of values, not a follower of rules. That's why he saw creation not as a luxury of artists, but as a necessity for anyone who wants to live authentically. Creation, in his view, was an act of rebellion and of rebirth. And here's where it gets dangerous. If you take Nietzsche seriously, you'll have to question everything you've ever accepted. You'll have to break things that once felt sacred. But maybe that's the point, because once you let go of the old, what's left is pure potential. And that's when creation stops being an idea and becomes a survival instinct. Creation isn't talent. It's survival. Most people think creation is a skill reserved for the gifted, but Nietzsche saw it as a matter of survival. He believed that the true creator isn't someone who has more talent. It's someone who refuses to repeat. In a world addicted to imitation and trends, creating becomes an act of resistance. And resisting the ordinary? That's where real transformation begins. To Nietzsche, the creator is not a passive thinker. It's a force of nature. This person doesn't wait for permission or inspiration. They build meaning where none exists. They break patterns, take risks, and shape their lives like sculptors with raw marble. Creativity, in this sense, isn't decorative. It's existential. It's how you rise above the noise and become something new. And here's the irony. In a world obsessed with originality, most people are still copying. But the real question isn't, how do I stand out? It's what am I still imitating without even realizing it? Because before you can create something powerful, you may have to destroy what's no longer yours. And that's where Nietzsche's most dangerous idea comes in. Nietzsche's most dangerous idea. Destroy to reinvent. What if the only way to build something meaningful is to destroy what you once believed in? That's the essence of Nietzsche's most radical idea, the revaluation of all values. He challenged us to tear down inherited beliefs, not just question them, but replace them with something stronger, something ours. It's not comfortable, it's not safe, but it's the only path to becoming truly free. This process isn't about chaos for the sake of rebellion, it's about conscious reconstruction. Nietzsche believed most of our suffering comes from clinging to outdated ideas that no longer serve us. By burning those down, we create space for values that align with life, energy, and growth. This is the real creative destruction. It's not about abandoning meaning. It's about choosing it actively and courageously. But here's where the old and new collide. How do you actually create something original after the dust settles? If everything is up for redefinition, where do your new ideas even come from? That's where philosophy meets practice, and where creativity becomes a method, not a mystery. The simplest creativity hack that Nietzsche already understood. What if I told you that creativity isn't about having genius ideas? It's about recognizing patterns and remixing them. Nietzsche believed that all meaning is interpretation, which means creation doesn't start from zero. It starts from reinterpretation. The same idea that powered his philosophy now fuels the most innovative minds in the world. Because creativity isn't magic, it's method. Enter idea stacking. The trick is simple. Absorb relentlessly, write everything down, then connect what doesn't seem connected. Steve Jobs didn't invent anything new. He combined the touchscreen, the internet, and the phone. Shakespeare reworked old stories. Einstein built on existing theories. Creativity in all these cases was recombination with purpose, not invention out of thin air. So if Nietzsche was right, and meaning is something we create, then this method becomes your toolkit. The more ideas you collect, the more unexpected connections you can make. But here's the best part: you don't need to wait for inspiration. Because once you stop chasing originality, you start building something even better. And that leads us to a truth most people never realize. The liberating truth: you don't need original ideas. Everyone is chasing originality. But what if that's exactly what's holding you back? The obsession with being completely new paralyzes more people than it empowers. The truth is, the most impactful ideas rarely come from nowhere. They come from unexpected collisions. And the courage to combine is far more powerful than the pressure to invent. Think about it. A podcast in a forest. Not groundbreaking on its own, but strange enough to be memorable. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about placing the wheel in a new context. That's what Nietzsche's philosophy hinted at. The power lies not in what something is, but in how you frame it. When you stop trying to be original, you give yourself permission to be effective. So here's the liberating truth. Creativity isn't a spark, it's a system. A system you can use right now with the knowledge and experiences you already have. All it takes is perspective and a bit of nerve. Because once you realize you don't need to be original, you finally start being real. And that's when true creation begins.